Before aircraft transformed large-scale battlefield logistics, horse-drawn military wagons carried artillery, ammunition, and essential supplies across difficult terrain. The process was slow, labor-intensive, and often determined the pace of entire military campaigns. During World War I, Germany introduced Zeppelin airships as one of the earliest forms of military air transport. While primarily used for reconnaissance, they also carried limited cargo, demonstrating the potential of aerial logistics long before modern cargo aircraft existed. That vision became reality after World War II. In 1948, the Douglas C-54 Skymaster became the backbone of the Berlin airlift, flying thousands of missions to deliver food, fuel, and medicine to more than 2 million people during one of history's greatest humanitarian operations. The next major leap came in 1965, when the Lockheed C-141 Starlifter entered U.S. Air Force service. As America's first jet-powered strategic airlifter, it dramatically reduced travel times while increasing the military's ability to deploy forces across the globe. During the 1980s, the Soviet Union introduced the Antonov An-124 Ruslan, one of the largest cargo aircraft ever built. Capable of transporting tanks, helicopters, missile systems, and other oversized military equipment, the An-124 set a new benchmark for heavy airlift operations. Today, the United States operates one of the world's most capable strategic transport aircraft, the Lockheed C-5M Super Galaxy. As the largest aircraft in the U.S. Air Force inventory, it can carry an astonishing variety of military equipment, from armored vehicles to helicopters, and even complete aircraft components. After touching down, the Super Galaxy crew immediately establishes communication with the Air Traffic Control Tower, receiving detailed taxi instructions before carefully navigating toward its assigned parking position. Despite its enormous size, the C-5M is significantly quieter than earlier C-5A, C-5B, and C-5C variants. Its 4 General Electric F-138 engines produce greater thrust, improved fuel efficiency, and substantially lower noise levels, making the upgraded aircraft more efficient and reliable than its predecessors. Taxiing an aircraft with a wingspan of nearly 68 meters demands exceptional precision. To improve visibility, flight crew members often use the aircraft's overhead dorsal observation hatches, allowing them to monitor the wingtips and surrounding clearance while moving through narrow or unfamiliar taxiways. Once safely parked, the pilots begin the engine shutdown sequence. The 2 outer engines are shut down first, followed by the remaining pair, bringing all 4 powerful F-138 engines to a complete stop before ground operations begin. Next, the Super Galaxy activates its unique kneeling landing gear system. Hydraulic actuators lower the aircraft closer to the ground while adjusting the cargo deck. The Lockheed C-5M Super Galaxy is one of the largest military transport aircraft ever built. But carrying a UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter is not as simple as driving it into the cargo bay. Although the aircraft's cargo compartment is enormous, its cargo bay height of approximately 13.5 feet requires the helicopter to undergo extensive disassembly. The rotor blades, tail section, and other external components must be removed so the helicopter can safely pass through the angled loading ramps and fit securely inside the aircraft. With the cargo secured, attention shifts to preparing the Super Galaxy for departure. Inside the cockpit, the flight crew performs a comprehensive series of pre-takeoff checks. Every flight instrument, navigation system, hydraulic circuit, electrical system, and engine indication is carefully verified to ensure the aircraft is fully mission-ready before leaving the ground. Outside the aircraft, a marshaller guides the massive transport as it begins moving away from its parking position. Using bright orange signal wands, the marshaller provides precise hand signals directing the pilots when to taxi, stop, or turn safely through the busy airfield. For an aircraft measuring nearly 247 feet in length, even routine ground movement demands constant coordination. As the aircraft reaches the runway, the pilots advance all 4 General Electric F-138 engines to takeoff power. Fully loaded, the Super Galaxy can weigh as much as 840,000 pounds. Even so, the upgraded engines provide enough thrust for the aircraft to accelerate smoothly down the runway. Depending on the aircraft's weight and weather conditions, the C-5M typically rotates for takeoff between 125 and 160 knots, or roughly 144 to 184 miles per hour. At rotation speed, the pilots gently raise the nose, and within moments, one of the world's largest aircraft leaves the ground. Despite its incredible size, many pilots describe the C-5M as surprisingly responsive. Advanced flight controls and powerful engines give the aircraft handling characteristics more comparable to a much smaller airplane than its enormous dimensions would suggest. For missions covering thousands of miles, the Super Galaxy often relies on aerial refueling to extend its range. One of its most common partners is the KC-135 Stratotanker, an aircraft specifically designed to transfer fuel in flight. The refueling operation begins at a designated Air Refueling Initial Point, or ARIP. Here, both aircraft carefully align their altitude, heading, and position before entering the established refueling track. Every movement is deliberate, as even small deviations can complicate the connection. At the rear of the KC-135, the flying boom operator, commonly known as the boomer, takes control of the operation. Looking through specialized viewing windows and using precision controls, the boomer guides the refueling boom toward the C-5M's receptacle located on the upper fuselage.